Have the Denver Broncos draft plans just been revealed? Listen, Benjamin Albright is a very polarizing figure here in Broncos country. He's somebody that gets a lot of crap on Twitter, but one thing you do have to say about him is he is very knowledgeable about the Broncos and he is very tuned in. Clearly, he has got some good sources within the Broncos building, as well as good sources throughout the rest of the NFL, and his reports, more often than not, are pretty accurate. So, whenever he puts out a tweet about the Denver Broncos, I generally make note of it. He tweeted out in a cryptic tweet last year, about 5 hours before the draft, that Bo Nix was going to be the guy for the Denver Broncos. Albright knows what's up at Dove Valley, so I want to go ahead and bring in this tweet here, and it's really interesting the direction the Denver Broncos might go in the first round. It really feels like the Broncos are probably running back or defensive line as their first pick, if they're picking at 20. The move backward, I could see a tight end in that equation like Mason Taylor. I continue to believe that receiver is not in the equation early. So, for the people that are hoping for Luther Burden, Emeka Egbuka, or maybe Tet McMillan, that's probably not going to happen for the Denver Broncos. The Broncos seem to be more happy with their receiver room than fans and media are, like I've said many times on this channel. But Mason Taylor, if the Denver Broncos were to move back, could be a really intriguing pick for them high in the second round, and he would fill one of my top needs that this team still has, and that is inline tight end. With Evan Ingram, you've got your big slot, you've got your H tight end, your move tight end, whatever you want to call him, but Adam Troutman just does not get it done for me as your starting inline tight end. And Mason Taylor, outside of the top two in Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland, is probably the best tight end on the board. And I think that he could really shine inline as a wide tight end. His route running is fantastic. I am a big fan of his route running. I think his cuts are crisp and clean. There's no wasted movement on his routes. That's a big plus in my book. Blocking. He is a more than cromulent blocker. I think that there are some reps where he doesn't have a good anchor and he does lose the rep, but more often than not, he's got a good base when he's blocking. He's got his hips anchored to the ground. He's got his shoulders perpendicular to the line of scrimmage, which is the technique that you want to see as a blocker. That's something that Denver desperately needs, is a cromulent blocking tight end, and that is where Mason Taylor could come in and fill that role brilliantly. Good hands. I think that he's got really solid hands. That's pretty much all I got to say there. I think that he's got really good hands. And then his yard after the catch ability is one thing that maybe is a little bit of a knock on his game. I don't think that he's going to be an athletic yard after the catch tight end, but that's okay because that's why you have Evan Ingram. You've got Mason Taylor who's going to play more in line, and then Evan Ingram is going to be your yak guy, your guy that's going to line up in the slot. He's going to line up on the wing at the very end of the formation. Taylor would line up a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage in two tight end sets. And then again, you're going to see Evan Ingram in the slot a lot more often, so Taylor will be the guy who lines up at your traditional Y inline tight end position where you would expect to see the tight end lining up. So Mason Taylor, if the Denver Broncos were to entertain a trade scenario where they come back from 20 to 34 with the New York Giants, I made a video talking about that a couple of weeks ago now. I think that could be a brilliant scenario here. Mason Taylor could be a big-time target at the top of the second round. And then later on, because you'll have another second-round pick that you can play with, you could take your running back. Caleb Johnson, late in the second round, definitely is appealing to me. I don't think that Quinshon Judkins or Travion Henderson, either of the Ohio State backs, are going to still be there. There is an outside chance. I think Omarion Hampton might be there. Reports are indicating that Hampton is not viewed as highly across the league as he is through fans and media. So that is definitely an option, but I think more realistically, Caleb Johnson is the guy you're looking at running back. He is certainly my favorite second round running back, my favorite of the quote unquote second tier running backs who still have RB1 upside. So those are some players that I would be really happy if the Denver Broncos ended up coming away with. Mason Taylor, absolutely. He would be somebody who could fill a big time role in this offense. And then Caleb Johnson as well. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So whenever Benjamin Albright speaks Broncos country, I do think that it is worthy of mentioning it, and it is worthy of keeping a mental note of all of his tweets leading up to the draft, because in any one of these tweets, he said he is going to drop the hint for what direction the Denver Broncos are going to go in the draft. Last season, in that tweet that he put out about 5 hours before the draft, the first letter in every sentence for that tweet was ITSBO, spelling out it's Bo. Ben says it's going to be a little bit more complicated this time around, but keep an eye out in all of his tweets moving forward for any nugget that could drop about what direction the Denver Broncos are going to go in the draft. We're so close, Broncos country. It is officially the 17th now as of recording this, so we are a week away from the first round of the draft. I can't believe it's finally here, Broncos country. It has been a long off season. It's been a fun off season for the Broncos. Hopefully that will continue in the draft. And of course, we will have our 3-day draft stream marathon here on Broncos Syndicate. We do this every single year. We are live for all 3 days of the draft. Then we do individual videos on undrafted free agents afterwards. We do videos while we're live. It's an absolutely insane time here on Broncos Syndicate. So hopefully you guys can stay here and be a part of it. And until next time, guys, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.